And then you have these fighter airplanes going up, and they are with very low velocity. They didn't find this the enemy, and so 4 times at this day nothing worked. The FAA didn't work really, and the NORAD didn't work. They didn't work together. Bush, I think, changed the way how to deal with this kind of situation.
That's right. Dick Cheney, 2.5 months before.
Suddenly, Dick Cheney was in charge, and not the normal run of affairs. So a lot of very strange things.
Yeah, that's a key point, Andres von Bulow. Let's stop right there. 2.5 months before, he signs an order since 57, and when NORAD was set up, the default by the generals and even there's officers under them is they have the authorization if the craft doesn't follow orders or is endangering civilian areas, they shoot it down. Cheney took the power away from the generals 2.5 months before, and Bush massed 44,000 U.S. troops, 18,000 British troops around Afghanistan and put the carriers there and signed the launch order to attack Afghanistan the day before 9/11. How suspicious is that?
Sure, and the same is true of Iraq. It was long before decided to attack Iraq, and 9/11 they begin telling this stupid story that Saddam Hussein was involved with Al Qaeda. He was an enemy of Al Qaeda, and Al Qaeda, if Al Qaeda is existing, probably it's a construct of the.
Well, now they say Iran is Al Qaeda when they're Shiite.
Sure, they try to find the stupidity of the population to believe them.
Well, we are pretty dumb, but please continue with the points that made you question, and you now say you do know they were involved, and then I want to talk about why you think they did it and how you think they really did it. We know the official story's a lie, but
stupidly they have written it down in this New American Century where Cheney was involved, where the Jeb Bush was involved, where Pearl was involved, and all these guys running the government, and they said we have to tell the American population that there is no peace dividend. We can't cut down our military outlays. We have to bring them up, very strongly up. We have to wage a kind of not a war, but
preemptive.
We have to prepare to certify that the United States is running the world affairs for the next century, and therefore we have to fight, and we have to pay for the military-industrial complex, and there they said, well, it will be difficult to tell this the American people because they would like to have the peace dividend, but if something is happening like Pearl Harbor, where the population were thrown into total different direction than they thought before would be wise, and were able and willing to fight World War II. If this kind of thing will happen, the whole scenario will change, and now we have
neocons. I don't know if you saw this last year, writing syndicated columns saying 9/11 was wonderful. We need another one. I mean, why do they have... and then Gary Hart wrote a letter to Iran last year saying the U.S. government stages attacks. You better back off. Did you see that?
No, but I see the scenery. Yeah, it's still.
Why are they
dangerous.
so arrogant, though? You've worked at the highest levels of government. I mean, I've never seen such arrogant, out in the open people. They basically admit they've done it.
Yeah, I don't know, because Iran, Iraq has oil, Iran has oil. Then the dismemberization of the former Soviet Union, of Russia. It's all going on with the same background, helping and bringing about disputes and more kind of situations. And I think if you look at the not on the democratic side of the American government system, if you look at the empire system, then you have always these fake elements. You have this in the first American Spanish War with the destruction of the Maine. You have the same thing in First World War with the Lusitania. This was a job which was handled mostly.
Stay there. I want to talk about the history of staged events with Andreas von Bulow, former Defense Secretary of Germany, former Technology Minister of Germany, and he was also on the oversight of the intelligence agencies. He's Andreas von Bulow, and he's written the book, The CIA and 9/11. We're going to come back and break it down for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're honored to have him. Days are here, my friends. Andreas von Bulow is our guest, author of The CIA and September 11th. And then we have Gulf of Tonkin, as you were listening, to get us into Vietnam and the USS Liberty. Now declassified that Israel did attack the ship on purpose to try to sink it to blame it on Egypt. That just came out last year. Chicago Tribune. Please continue, sir. Yes, please continue with, you were giving examples of government-sponsored terror.
Well, no, I would add that one of the very strange thing on 9/11 after the aircraft hit the towers was the insert version of these dancing or laughing Palestinians. This was so fantastically just in time that I was very doubtful whether this has a real background. And later on, it was very interesting that the former vice Bürgermeister of Jerusalem told the public that I think the Israeli Defense Ministry sent a camera team over on the Palestinian side, and they gave candies to the public, and the public was laughing, and this was put on TV, and immediately with 9/11 it was mixed with these horrible pictures. So even in the PR situation, it was prepared, and it was very strange. And then I think, as you all know, the free fall velocity of the falling of not only the both towers, also the World Trade Center number 7, which was not hit by a plane, is extremely strange. It could not happen, as the government is telling us. So I think history teaches us that wars are always started with lies. By the government starting this war, they want always to blame the other side in order to get a rectification what they are doing. So we have always to be extremely skeptical if something has happened, like perhaps in the Persian Gulf might something happen, or for example the Vincennes, the American destroyer Vincennes. They shot down an Airbus over the Persian Gulf, I think 20 years ago. They should have known that there is a normal civil aviation going on. They said they couldn't distinguish a small air fighter with military aims from a huge body aircraft, and they shot it down. And this was one of the reasons probably Lockerbie happened, because Iran struck back. And so you have always this trying to bring situation where the population are getting upset and willing to go to war and to give a free hand to their government.
Mr. von Bulow, in the short segment we've got and the long one coming up, can you talk about the psychology? We know military psychology of where a general will put 1,000 troops in a gorge or a valley to bring in an enemy, a larger force to reveal themselves, sacrificing the pawn symbolized by the 1,000 troops to then bring in his troops to win the battle. And it's that mindset of end justifies the means justifies the ends, that Machiavellian system where we do have these people running our government that would think nothing of killing 3,000 citizens for this larger hegemonic empire.
Well, I laughed when I was with the Ministry of Defense. I laughed about psychological warfare. It was doing some things on the inner German border, raising balloons with material which the wind was blowing over, or other things like that. But psychological warfare is extremely important,